Hey, this is Freddie from Ashes of Aries, and you're listening to Podcast of the Wicked.
Hey guys, welcome to Podcast of the Wicked. I'm Metal Rose.
I'm Johnny.
I'm Bill.
I'm Dave Myers.
And I'm Dave English.
And today we're going to talk about the interview I recently did with Jon Schaffer and the interview that John recently did with Tom Woods, which was really awesome. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm good.
What did you guys think of the interview overall that I did with John?
Yours, I think it went well.
Yeah,
Very well. Over 2 hours of questions that he wanted, that fans all wanted answers to, and obviously it was only 2 hour interview, so he couldn't get to every question, but covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. There were a couple of articles that came out, and I guess it would be a good thing to address some of those articles and some of the comments. We got mostly positive comments on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's always going to be a few that have negative comments, but what are you going to do? That's the internet for you.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think the overwhelming response was pretty positive. Yeah, there were like several news articles that basically said the same thing, which was obviously, far from the entire truth, but that's news for you.
Well, my opinion is they put out that one article that said John had a lot of financial offers, but that really doesn't shed any light on the actual interview. Basically they were just like, oh, Jon Schaffer received great financial offers, but what it didn't say was that John is not looking to go back to Iced Earth right this minute. He's looking to take a hiatus and work this new job with attorneys on retainer, and that, in my opinion, should have been the focus of the first article.
Yeah, out of all the things that were discussed, I mean, there were a lot of good questions and a lot of good things that, we could potentially be looking forward to, but most of that stuff wasn't covered by news outlets, but that's not very surprising.
Yeah, and it was nice to get through some questions that didn't involve when is Matt coming back. That's like the main question everybody wants to know.
Well, that was a silly question because we all kind of know the answer to that at this point. Like, is Matt really going to come back? I mean, Iced Earth would have to reform for that to even be a decision. And then I would say Matt would probably have to retire, and then maybe they would like record me. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I'm not really sure why people keep asking that question when they kind of already know the answer to that.
It's like, yeah, everyone and their mother wants him to come back, but that's, they all have to agree, and sometimes that's just not the way things work.
The biggest elephant in the room here that I feel like we need to address was the article that they came out with that said that John called Stu a poser. Now,
Yeah, well, aside from it being just blatantly incorrect, out of all the things that they could have made an article on, again, it's just the drama, and it was incorrectly reported drama. So I don't know. That's
They
stupid.
just want clicks and likes. They just want to get people riled up.
to be honest with you, if anybody did listen to the interview, John said that what Stu did was a poser move. He didn't say, oh, Stu's a poser.
Yeah, as I said, incorrectly reported.
Yeah. And the saddest thing to me about that was that, and I never saw this coming, and I'm just going to say this right now, I never saw that Stu, I didn't think Stu would have hurt feelings that was said, because it seemed very clear to me that Stu was 100% done with John. So I feel bad that his feelings were hurt as a result of something that took place on my podcast. But let's be clear here. I saw an interview that Stu put out where he said John effed up real bad. John was basically saying, like, stop hating on Stu and whatnot. But Stu did come out and say something first about, John in the media. So now John said, forgive Stu, and, I had great times with Stu, but he made a post and he walked it back, and a lot of people felt that was a poser move. And then he said, well, in his opinion, it was a poser move. So I don't think that that's that bad. I don't know why Stu is so hurt over that, but I just hope he feels better. And I wish the media didn't report it the way that they reported it, because they really blew it out of proportion, in my opinion.
News sucks.
Yeah, it was definitely blown out of proportion. And again, just incorrect.
Yeah, well, they probably just want to get people riled up. I mean, they probably want to get as many comments as you can.
So I've dealt with a lot of positive stuff, mostly all positive, but I've also dealt with a lot of hate and crazy comments and inbox messages, and it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. I mean, I think with all the stuff that, gets thrown at me, I think anybody would crack under that type of pressure. And I'm proud to say I haven't, but it really hasn't been easy because people just refuse to actually listen to that actual interview. They are looking at an article and they're not even really looking at an article. They're just looking at a headline. And it's not it's just rough, It's not been easy, but I'm proud of the work. I'm proud that Jon is getting out there more, and I'm never going to stop fighting. I'm never going to stop fighting for Jon. I'm not going to give up on Jon. Just not happening.
I got some stuff I want to address, but I want to let everybody kind of talk about what they want to talk about. That's why I'm just kind of sitting here silent.
Johnny, do you have any comments on the way the media blows things out of proportion or anything?
Well, obviously, like Meyer said, they want a lot of clicks. But not a lot of people have time, and they know that. So they usually just make something up and just put it on there.
Make something up vaguely about the article. That way the person just reads the headline and just doesn't read the article itself.
Yeah, no, Johnny's right. Absolutely. He's right. People don't have a lot of time. So people just read a headline, or, even some of the reporters, they might just skim through something and really not gain a full understanding of it. And I'm not saying that's for everything in the media, although, probably. But especially with the metal media, they sort of glaze over things, and it sucks.
Yeah, and most of the people making negative comments are the people who haven't read the article, let alone watched the actual interview. So,
well, maybe one of the things is whoever wrote that article might not like Stu. Could be one of the things.
Or they don't like Jon and they want to hurt, they want to hurt Stu's feelings so Stu gets mad at Jon, There's also that.
Which seems more likely to me.
Yeah.
They're just trying to stir trouble.
I think it's more about people not liking Jon and they're trying to stir the pot, It's like what Jon was saying, like when he was like walking in that crowd, it's the divide and conquer tactics.
Yeah, but that's definitely how the media is, divide and conquer.
Did you guys watch the interview Jon did with Tom Woods?
Yeah, that was cool.
No, I was just thinking it was a good interview because it was more about his, what all happened January 6th, his time in prison and all that. And sometimes I think him talking about Eyster, some of that stuff gets lost in all that. And so I kind of think it was a good interview as far as that. I think really Jon really got to tell like his side of it and everything. So I think that was good.
Yeah, I felt like it was totally different than what he did with us. It was totally different topics, and some things were that he touched on with me were touched on with Tom, but he went way more in depth with what happened on J6 than everything he dealt with. The PTSD and the solitary confinement stuff, which he got into a little bit with me on the podcast, but that was probably the most heartbreaking part of the podcast that he did with Tom Woods, in my opinion. Just hearing the conditions he had to suffer under for what he basically, like, he didn't do anything. Like, he really didn't do anything in that Capitol building. And that's what drives me the craziest about the punishment that he received. And that's why I couldn't stand seeing him be the face of J6 when it came to the metal media. It was like just his face everywhere. And I knew it didn't add up. And even now, like, it pisses me off how ignorant people are when it comes to the facts of that day, and the facts especially of what happened with Jon. You could read all of the transcripts. You can look at all the footage. Look for Jon. See if you see him doing anything bad. I dare you. I bet you $1 million you won't find anything.
Well, people just assume like, oh, he was there, he was part of it, You got to look at each individual person on that day. You know, you can't just make someone guilty just because they were there that day.
Yeah, they love plastering that picture of him pointing his finger like that somehow implicated him in being this horrific person who caused great violence. It's like he had an angry face and pointed a finger. That's not, hitting the officers with, any of that bullshit that went down or whatever. In fact, he pulled people out of the way who were going to attack officers. So in reality, he really is doing the opposite of what the media had portrayed him as doing. He didn't attack anyone. He was actually generally trying to prevent violence from going down.
Said it. You basically said it perfect. And I know I jumped on for almost the same thing last time, but that's what really drives me the most crazy. It's like I saw a helpful person get used as like the scapegoat to scare everybody. And what's scary about that is that once you say you can just punish anybody for anything and it doesn't matter if you look into it, that's a really slippery slope that can lead to things like death camps. And people might think that's an extreme statement, but it's really not, because if you can just take a completely, not only a man that wasn't even violent, but one that was helpful and turn him into the enemy, you could do that to anybody. And I mean, like, that he had to suffer all alone like that and not know what the outcome would be, not know what might even happen to him there. And all he was really doing was showing up and saying, well, hey, like, we just want rights and we just want freedom. He was never there to cause trouble or chaos or anything. And he squashed a lot of the chaos, and I just don't get how so many people vilified that without even looking. It's scary. It really shows socially how easy it is for like the hive mind to get people in like a tizzy or a tangent, like when they would show those mobs on South Park, like rubble, 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 and it's just like nobody even knows what's actually going on. And I think to me, that's probably one of the most scary parts, because Jon represents the potential for that to happen to anybody. And and I think that's why it was so important that Rose and other people stood behind him, because you need to make that message of like, no, we're not going to just put up with stuff like that. What are we, like, kids in second grade with a bad teacher getting punished for no reason? Like, what are we going to do? But it's like the punishment isn't like time out. It's jail for life, losing your potential whole lifeline. It's wrong, especially when part of the laws are your right to peacefully protest. And the fact that there's so many pieces of footage of those guards peacefully and voluntarily letting everybody in, like they were giving some kind of a museum tour. Like, who wouldn't have walked in like, hey, okay, I get to see the White House? No, it wasn't like they went in there like with like pitchforks and you know what I mean, like fire burning the place. I mean, maybe some people, but definitely not the group he was with or what he was doing. And that's the thing. Like, I just don't get it. Anyway, that's really, I don't want to like repeat myself too much, but it really does. It scares me that people can jump to conclusions that quickly, and then they'll back up the government when the government's lying, you know what I mean? Like, or whoever it is, blindly. Like, one day they could be cheering on the government to put a noose on their own mother, these types of people, these types of mentality. And then they have the nerve to come and attack us and call us monsters. And, it's scary. And I don't know, I'm sorry. I really wanted to say that,
No,
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, that's great. Like, we needed that. Really important points. It really does start to get to be a slippery slope. And that was part of why I had to jump in. I'm like, they're just going to keep doing this whole thing. And it was complete, like, like they were all on like this is misinformation about C-19 and all of that stuff. Misinformation. They were doing nothing but spreading misinformation about J6. And they were doing nothing but spreading misinformation about Jon. And like, I was screaming the whole time, like, this is complete BS. And they just kept doing it. I tried to do everything I could. I sent all of those media outlets, all of the court transcripts, all of the documents. I did all of those things, and they just completely ignored that stuff.
Well, one of the things we need to think about is that most people now take all their information from TikTok and other social medias and they don't really look into it that much. So that's why a lot of this stuff is happening.
Yeah, and we get our information from the actual the actual sources.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think you're right. You know, people just see what they see on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, whatever, and take it as is or as they see it.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm glad that John got that interview with Tom Woods out there too. That was really good. Great. I'm glad he did the ones with attorneys on retainer. It was good to have his attorneys explain how they were able to fix the case and everything and convince the judge and prosecutor to lighten his sentence, especially that tactic with the hat was really cool. The fact that they used the hat as leverage when he was really just like, he just got a paid subscription for all that stuff. So it was like, oh, let me just support this thing. They send swag. I mean, it's just as like John donating to that organization was just like, you or I donating to like Megadeth's cyber army and like getting like a swag package.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Bill, what do you want to say?
Okay, so I'm probably going to take up a little bit of y'all's time, so just have to bear
Go
I'm
with
for
ready
me.
for it.
Go for it. We're just
Okay.
sitting here.
For those of you who don't know, okay, a little while back when I decided to, well, I didn't decide, I had an idea to start this podcast, right? I didn't want to, first of all, I didn't want to step on toes. So I went to Chuck and Jason and I was like, hey, I know y'all guys started podcasting Stone and, now y'all ended it. I want to do something about Iced Earth, but I want you guys' blessing. They're like, go for it. I said, okay. So I threw the idea out here and Rose jumped at it. And I'm glad she did because she has been an awesome co-host and she has put a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into this podcast to make it what it is. She's actually done a whole lot more than I have. And without her, the success with this podcast wouldn't be what it is. I want to say for those people who want to say negative things and want to talk shit, don't come at her, come at me. So I don't care what you say, first of all, don't care what you think. Because the way I look at it is if words is all you got, then you don't have nothing. Because words don't bother me, okay? Second of all, this podcast is not for people who are woke, and it's not for those people who are posers. This podcast is not for people who are pansies. If you don't like the truth, this podcast ain't for you, okay? Second of all, or third of all, right?
I
We're
love
going
you,
to
Bill.
put stuff on here that is controversial, whether people like it or not. And if a former band member or whoever comes on and they express their opinion and they say some things, if it ruffles feathers, then I don't know what to say. But I believe in free speech and I believe in saying what you want to say.
You can't make
If
everybody happy.
Yeah, I
No,
mean, yeah,
but
100%. And we can't control what other people feel.
yeah. So exactly that's what I'm trying to say. So if anybody has something they want to say or feel like they need to be said, you have a platform to say it. Every time, I don't know what it is, but every time we upload a interview with John, all you see in the comments is how, oh, he's an insurrectionist and blah, blah this and blah, blah that and all this. So first of all,
Those are the
I'm going to say
negative
this.
comments.
Yeah, he's more than
Yeah,
that.
I know, but that's what I'm addressing. So here's what I want to say. Some people are like glow sticks. You have to snap them, shake shit out of them till the light comes on, right? Okay. For those of you who do not live in this country, you don't understand what it's like to live here, okay? Second of all, if you're pissed off because John did what he done, that's on you. But let me tell you something. I've said this many times and I will say it again. If I was there, there's probably 99.5% chance I would have done the exact same thing. Okay. Here's the idiotic stupidity of people. Okay. We're the strongest nation in this world with the strongest military. You actually believe that a bunch of people with no weapons are going to storm the capital of the most powerful nation in the world with the most powerful military and actually think they're going to do shit. If you think that and you think that was an insurrection, then I don't know what to tell you. You make not only this country look bad, but you make mankind look bad by thinking like that. Okay? And here's something I don't understand. Y'all guys want to come out here and want to condemn Jon for walking in the Capitol for like 8 to 10 minutes, pointing his finger, yelling at a few people, and then coming out. Okay, here's where y'all people are ignorant and stupid, and or the pot calling the kettle black. Okay, you can't tell me that some of y'all have been to a festival where Motley Crue was played, bought tickets knowing that Motley Crue was going to be there. Now, the road I'm going down is this. Anyone that's been a Motley Crue fan, I don't know how many years, know that Vince Neil got drunk in the 80s, got in a car wreck, killed somebody, and spent 30 days in jail.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we got. Okay, the thing I don't understand is Jon didn't lay his hands on anybody. He wasn't violent. He didn't do anything. Actually, he got pepper sprayed. Okay, the thing is you're going to sit here and condemn somebody and make all these rude ass comments about January 6th and all that. But some of y'all will go out here and listen to Motley Crue or go to a festival that Motley Crue plays at knowing that Vince Neil killed somebody. Who is the hypocrite? Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Some of y'all people don't understand. And see, here's what I don't understand too. There's a lot of people out here that are mad because Jon found religion. Well, let me tell you something. At least Jon found something. There's people out here that don't believe in anything. And that's your right to believe however you want to believe. But if Christ is what makes Jon happy, then so be it. What's wrong with
If it works for him, it works for him.
That's right. Not everything is not the same thing works for everybody.
That's one of the foundations of our country.
Yeah.
Religious freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can worship a pair of shoes if you want to.
Exactly.
The golden calf.
Yeah. But the point I am trying to get across is that everybody wants to be negative about everything. And so what? The man made a mistake. Who in this world has not made a mistake?
I've made plenty.
Who in this world hasn't
No one's
done
perfect.
something they regret doing? I made plenty of them,
Haven't we all?
and probably will make a bunch more before I
Plenty
leave
more.
this walk.
Part of
Okay.
the human experience.
So
Being a
for
human,
those
you're going to
of
make
you-
mistakes.
So all I got to say is this: something I don't understand now, and I'm going to close with this. Okay. Well, I'm close my part of it with this: rock and roll or metal and music or those types of music in general has always been about rebellion. It's always been about going against the system, fighting those things that are unjust to you. When you're an ancient young teen coming up, metal's all about being, stick it to the man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when somebody actually stands up and sticks it to the man, y'all want to get mad because, you didn't like because he stormed. Who is the poser here? Okay. What I'm trying to say is this. If you're not all about what rock and roll and metal stands for, then why are you listening to it? Okay, that's what I don't get. Like, if you want to be all nice, go listen to pop music. If you want to be all this stuff, what I'm trying to say is you come to metal for a reason. When did metal become woke and pansified, and you're supposed to be all just like, I can't stand behind this because I got to believe everything everybody says on social media, right? Social media is one of the worst things that was ever created because people want to believe everything they see on their phone than what is actually out there. Like Rose said, many times she has posted the court transcripts. She's posted a lot of stuff that's went on about that day, what happened and all that. And there's still people out here who are ignorant to the situation because they don't want to take time to read. They don't want to take time to research. They don't want to take time to do anything, but they want to come out here and blast people for even having anything to do with Jon. Well, let me tell you something. I applaud him for what he done. And the man stood up for what he believed in, right or wrong, whether it hurt him in the long run, whether we may not never hear another music note from him, whether Iced Earth is done or whatever. I applaud him for what he done. The man stood up for what he believed in. And here's the thing that some of y'all don't understand. You call yourself Iced Earth fans and Jon Schaffer fans, but how many of you actually went and listened to the Sons of Liberty project? You ought to know Jon was a patriot just by putting out that album. Did y'all just think, oh, it's just something Jon's doing because he wants to, you know, do this history or this thing about whatever it is? It's just another project to him. No, it was about a statement and about a movement. 90% of the stuff that Jon talked about is actually happening right now. And
It
y'all
sure
are
is.
too blind and too stupid to see it. The problem with people is, man, you want to sit back behind your screens and go type on your keyboard and be a keyboard warrior. But when it's actually time to stand up for something, you hide in your mama's basement. So I'm just saying, so for those of you that want to come at somebody, come at me, because Rose. And here's the thing: I've told Rose, I said, you run with whatever you feel is right. I'll back you 100%. So if she posts something that somebody don't like, message me. I don't care, because I'll tell you how I feel about it, and I'm not scared. So I'm just saying that this podcast is, you know, if somebody's got something to say, they can say it, and that's what it's about. We're not going to sugarcoat shit for people because that's what you want to hear. If you want that, go to other podcasts. They'll do that for you. But this is not going to be one of them.
It's a whole world of podcasts out there.
And you know, as
Right.
Jon says, you know, Jon's favorite saying is stand for something or die for nothing. That's on the Iced Earth page. And what he did, you know, whether you agree with it or not, he was standing up, like you said, for what he believes. And now he's on a more important mission. It's way more important than music. And I can't wait until that's all like out there. You know, he's touched on some of it, but that man is going to stand for something, and it's going to be something really great. He already does stand for something great. And as I said, I'll never give up on him. I don't know why people want to push so hard or ask me to stop talking about this stuff. I'm not going to. I'm not going to ever stop giving Jon Schaffer a platform just because it doesn't make you happy. I don't care. I'm never going to stop doing this Iced Earth podcast unless, like, you know, it's run its course, of course. There's no shortage of guests. There's so many people that have been in and out of the band. There are so many side projects. I'm here to bring this community back together. I'm not here to tear everybody apart. This whole entire movement that I started, and I'm not going to take credit for the free Jon Schaffer saying, but I am the leader of the movement, and it's not just about Jon, as we were basically saying. It's something much deeper. If we're going to scapegoat one person, then we're going to, you know, we're a lousy society that's going to allow these things to continue to happen. And a great injustice was served to that man. He did not deserve to suffer the way he did. I will never, ever, ever back down in saying that. And, you know, again, I'm not saying he never did anything wrong in his life, or, you know, I'm not saying he didn't take responsibility for what going into the Capitol, because he certainly has. But he was tortured throughout this process. And a lot of the people who, you know, are requesting that he just come back and do music and everything, you have to understand PTSD takes a long time to get over. And he was dished out probably like some of the worst worst things on earth, like solitary confinement, being alone, not having anyone to talk to, not having anything to read, not having anything but time. You know, he's a mentally strong person to have made it through all of that, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have issues from it now, at least in my opinion. So,
and we're a first world country too.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, when it comes to music or creativity, everybody needs to be patient and understanding.
The punishment should fit the crime.
The punishment did not fit the crime whatsoever. And when they did the 3 years probation, okay, fine. But the even that prolonged period of time of making a decision, how hard could it have really been to make a decision after reviewing that footage? Why did he have to wait so long and be tortured for so long? It really bothers me, but there's nothing we can do about that now. He just, hope that Jon rises from all of this, which he is, and continues to heal and just lives a happy and normal life. I can't imagine.
The judge said himself, and Judge Mehta is, he's a liberal judge, and even he said, I hope your fans can forgive you, and I hope you can move on because you deserve it. And I agree with the judge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
he's a very liberal judge, and he wants Jon to be forgiven. I think that maybe, if some people
You seem like he's a very reasonable guy, guy.
Yes, he was. And listen, if Iced Earth's not your cup of tea and it never was, fine, whatever, who cares? I see people like comment the stupid comments that they leave, like, they're just like they're the ones that are attention seekers looking for clicks and likes. They're just like, oh, well, I didn't like them to begin with. Well, who cares? It's your freedom to say that, but like, you're a baby if you're like talking that type of crap. And then there's all these people making fun of Jon for turning to Christ, and I don't know what the problem is. A lot of people have turned to Christ, and everyone goes, why? There's so many comments. Why would he turn to Christ in his darkest hour? Well,
He's not the only one. He's not the only one to turn to faith. Lots of people do that.
My question is, why?
Christianity is the most common religion in the country. I think it would be more like, I think it'd be more surprising if he turned to like Scientology or North paganism.
Well, regardless, my question is, why wouldn't he, if that's what he feels he needs? A lot of people turn to God. There's nothing wrong with that.
If it helps them, great.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be an atheist, that's fine too. If you want to be a pagan, that's fine too. If you want to, merge some religions and have your own practice going on, that's fine too. It's not a big deal. And the people that think it is a big deal, there's something wrong with them. There really is. Seeing a bunch of stupid memes like Satan memes and stuff like that, it's stupid. What a waste of time for these people, in my opinion. And they live sad lives. I had not that many this is the wild thing. There's people that they just see what the interview I did with Jon, so they found my Facebook, and then they'll laugh react to posts, pictures, a bunch of things on my page. They'll just go through and just laugh react to everything, and then and I'll get the notification, and then they'll block me.
Yeah, people do that
because they're too afraid to face, like they want to make me, then it doesn't make me feel bad, but they want to try to make me feel bad, but then they block me because
or just waste your time.
Yeah, it's so
It's
stupid.
really just wasting their time. It really is stupid.
It's really more of waste of their time, exactly, because
People
I know what I'm up against. I know that talking about Jon and being a part of, this community is not going to give me the easiest life on earth. So I know what I'm up against, but these people, they're just thinking, oh, well, if I do this, she'll never have him or give him a platform again. You know what? Just makes me want to give him a platform like 100,000 more times. So
that's something else I wanted to address too. So here's what I wanted to say. Now, like I said, I was the one that came up with the idea for this, but if you really want to look at it, Rose has probably put in the most work than anybody in this podcast. Okay. And I've had many conversations with her, and I've even told her they may become like, no one needs to know my personal life, but it's like this. I've told her they may be one day that I may just have to step away altogether. And I know this podcast would be in good hands, and I would want to see it succeed, and I'd want to see it flourish with me or without me. That's just the way life is.
well, I hope you don't step away.
Yeah.
I hope to have not too, but with family and everything, and some of the things that are going on, and with that, like I said, it's nobody's business, but ours or whatever. But it's one of those things. But it's like this right here. She has done a fantastic job, and you know what? We didn't have to bring any of you guys these concepts. You could be sitting out here listening to dumb people and these news outlets tell you stuff and you gobble it up thinking it's the truth when it's really not. I mean, it's not like we get paid for this. We do this
True.
because we love Iced Earth and we love Jon Schaffer and we love the music that he's created. It's done something for all of us. And so that's the thing. I mean, there's been a lot of people that's gave up on Jon. I was never one of them.
Nope.
If I had, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I surely wouldn't have took time out of my time and my life to do an Ice Earth podcast. So it's one of those things where, you know, each person is their own. You do what you want to. But it's like this right here. We're going to bring you the content we want to bring you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't like Jon Schaffer, then why are you still watching videos and interviews that he's in? I mean, if I don't like something,
with
I'm
that
not
though, Bill, there are so many people that are just obsessed. You'll see them jumping from Jon Schaffer. It's not so much our like YouTube page or podcast, but you'll see them jumping from Jon Schaffer article to Jon Schaffer post to everything about Jon Schaffer, but they're dishing out hate and putting all this energy into hating the guy, and it's just really, really crazy.
It is very crazy.
Some people have nothing better in life to do. See,
That's
I
the
have like a
internet for you.
full-time job and stuff, so I don't have time to do stupid stuff like that. And
Yeah,
like I
if I
said,
don't like something, I'm just not gonna give it time.
it's like this right here. It's like this. If I don't like something or somebody, I'm just not going to bother.
Much.
I mean, and let me tell you, do you really think it hurts their feelings? I seriously doubt it.
No, it does. They don't. The people
They
like
don't give a
Jon don't
shit.
give a shit. Why would he care?
That's what I'm saying. So it's one of those things where, you know, won't y'all go troll something else? You know, won't you go troll Motley Crue and yell at Vince Neil for killing somebody driving drunk?
Yeah, really.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's stupid. It's the stupidity of people that can't let shit go. And the bad part about it is the man didn't do anything wrong. I mean, how many people have actually? I'm going to say this: if you watch the footage from the Capitol, if you actually watch the footage beyond of that first initial spot where you see the people first storming and going into the Capitol, if you watch the footage, you'll see people walking around in the Capitol like they're looking for something, like they're looking for the coffee section at Walmart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, where's it at? Huh? I can't find it. I mean, you seeing people walk around in there like, I mean, you got some dude in there dressed up like a damn animal walking around in there, you know, carrying a flag and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I got, you know what I'm saying? And y'all want to sit here and like, oh, it was a riot. If that was a riot, it's the worst fucking riot I've ever seen. I'm telling you. I swear. But here's the thing. If it would have been something that y'all deemed worthy, y'all would be praising Jon Schaffer from the moon and back.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But because it doesn't fit y'all's narrative, y'all have got to keep running this shit into the ground. And these news media outlets out here, these heavy metal news outlets out here, they only want to type up the shit that they've seen that's going to get them views and clicks and likes and all that stuff. They're not going to give you the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like you could go out here and Megadeth could put out 11 or 12 songs on their new album, and before you know it, they got 50 songs on the album, and it's a double album because the news media don't know what the shit they're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't really think that these people would hire you if you couldn't read, because it's kind of hard to decipher things if you can't read. I'm not now, don't take this wrong with people. I'm not saying anybody's dumb. I have nothing against somebody that can't read. But what I'm saying is I seriously doubt they're going to hire you as a journalist if you can't read.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's court transcripts out there. There's a lot of other stuff out there. Why don't you educate yourself and go out here and read this stuff?
I couldn't have made it easier. Dave English, Dave Myers, and I made it very easy by reading the court transcripts, both the civil and the criminal for Jon. They they could listen to it in under, like, you know, they could even put it on double time if they want. It's real easy to
I've
do that on
always
YouTube.
I've always said there's a difference between not knowing better and being stupid. Okay, there's a difference. A lot of people are just being stupid. And if anybody's
because
got
they
a
know.
problem with that, you message me. I don't care.
Yeah, if you know better and you're still acting ridiculous, then I mean you got no one to blame but yourself for being stupid. You're inviting
Yep.
more problems in your life unnecessarily. I mean, doesn't life throw enough at you already? Do they really feel the need to scour the internet for people they don't like to laugh, react, and leave comments? It's really asinine to me.
It's like that there was that concert, what was it, Woodstock 99 or something? And
Yeah.
it's when Dave Mustaine, was like a laser, and Dave Mustaine goes, "Let me go to my mom and get a laser so I can point it at Dave." That's kind of like what it is, though. They're like, "Let's find
Yeah.
Jon Schaffer and bitch on the post because we need
Yep.
to." You know, that's what it is. Like,
Being stupid, knowing better, and still doing it.
Here's the whole thing. This is them right here.
And I'm telling you, I've had like 40, 50, and 60-year-old men saying horrible shit to me. They're not
Well,
young men. These aren't young people. Like, sorry. That's all. Sorry.
well, if you're that old and you're making comments like that, I'd be worrying about trying to make sure you don't die tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's my thing. Here's these people. They're over here typing. Oh, look at this episode of Mom, can you bring me some tea? Ma, can you get me some food? I gotta write this article about Jon Schaffer. Oh, yeah. Ma, you got my tea yet? That's how they are.
Well,
honestly.
Tiffany was doing a funny thing. She was doing a funny thing with that. She was like those, you know, they listen to like hardcore music. They're like, and then they're like, "Oh my God, Jon Schaffer stormed the Capitol," and they're crying. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. For those people that think that January 6th is violence, I've seen worse fights at Black Friday.
Me too.
Okay? I've actually seen fights that could have been on a pay-per-view boxing match over dumb shit at Walmart during Black Friday.
Tickle me Elmo.
Okay? I actually, let me tell you, speaking of tickle me Elmo, all right, my ex, okay, her sister's husband worked at Walmart and actually got bit by a woman.
Oh,
because
no.
he actually handed another woman the last Tickle Me Elmo that was on the shelf, and she wanted it. So she tried to bite him so he'd drop it where she could grab it.
For a
And he was
tickle me
trying to hand it
Elmo.
to her.
That's
For
ridiculous.
Tickle Me Elmo.
For a tickle me Elmo.
I mean, how stupid can you get?
Ugh.
People of Walmart.
But these are the same people, right, that'll tell you January 6th was a insurrection.
Yep.
Okay. That's all I got to say. I'm done.
So now, since we're talking about all this bullying, I'm gonna demonstrate what bullying does to a person with paper right here. So you bully the paper a bunch, you see, and then you say, you can't even see it, and then you say sorry to the paper, but it never really fixes that. They're still not fixed.
Yeah.
Don't bully, because even if you say sorry, it'll never really have too much of an effect.
Aw, his bullying PSA. I like that.
It's true.
That's a good
100%.
one. That's a good one.
And yeah, that's what the internet is filled with these days. And I really, John was getting into, when he was talking about the stew thing, he was talking about the amount of bots that are out there and everything. And you got to wonder, even if they're not bots, there's definitely people making fake accounts. They can say radical and crazy things or seek out like stuff like that too, So it's just,
I could see it right. I could see it right now. Brave Words and some of these other people. Podcast of the Wicked Host goes off on Jon Schaffer haters. And I'm like, yep. At least you got that one right.
Well, Brave Words actually, they've I liked the way they worded there was one art I like the way they've worded the stuff we've done and the stuff with John.
Yeah.
I feel like even like they're doing that thing, and again, nothing wrong with Christianity or whatever, but with the recent interview John did with Tom Woods, they're going off and saying something. It was just another art headline about him talking about Christ when he says that like once in the whole entire interview.
Yeah.
Let me read the headlines.
Yeah, that was only a small part of the interview.
And they're just trying to turn people against him because they're like I was saying, there's like all those Satan thing, and like, who cares? You don't want those people to like you anyway. But like they're literally like trying to make him look like something he's not. Let me find it. Let's see. It's so crazy. My article, here we go. So Brave Words said, sorry. Brave Words said, guests, Jon Schaffer guests on the Tom Woods show. I am always willing to be convinced that I'm wrong about something. Okay. So that's a really positive spin on the Tom Woods interview. Here's this crap. Now read the difference between this. Now, again, I don't have a problem with this, but there's a lot of people who freak out. They go, "Oh no, he's Christian." But it goes, Jon Schaffer, fallout from involvement in U.S. Capitol riot brought me into personal relationship with Christ. And people just read that, and then they interpret that extremely negative. And then metal addicts did the same thing. So the same thing even happened with the Stu Block stuff. Like if you read the headline from Loudwire, because this was Loudwire, Iced Earth's Jon Schaffer calls ex-singer poser over January 6th comments.
Which he didn't actually
Which
call
he
him.
didn't actually call him, but that's the headline. And everybody starts flipping out. And then there was a Blabbermouth article too that he has great financial offers to bring Iced Earth back, but the time isn't right now. At least that one was accurate. That could have been worse. But they did the same. Blabbermouth did the same thing when he did that interview with that cool guy that riffs on the couch guy. It was just, they didn't talk anything about how he meant he was giving some cool tips about the song Raven Wing or anything. Nothing. Just Jesus is the only way. That's absolutely clear to me now. Now, I didn't even remember that part of the interview. I'm just saying. They're like really just trying to jump on this bandwagon, and they're so anti-religion, these people, that they have to hate on it. And it's embarrassing for society, in my opinion.
Well, I want to say something about that. Here's these people out here. They want to jump down people because they want to believe in something and believe in a Christ, when some people out here worship Pokemons and other shit. I mean, seriously. I mean,
It's true.
Like, if you pray to your Pokemon, and what's it done for you? Nothing. Or you out here praying to these, Japanese anime characters and all this Dragon Ball Z and all this other dumb shit, but yet you want to jump down somebody and hate on somebody because they believe in Christ. Well, at least they believe in something. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. I'm going to say this. I have known shit people who were Christians, and I've known shit people who were atheists. I've known good people. I know a lot of good people who are Christians, and I know a lot of good people who are atheists. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It's the kind of person you are.
There's shitty people every walk of life you can find.
Yeah, there's shitty people everywhere. And just because, I don't know, it's this whole thing about, why I think, and this is not a knock against anybody who doesn't believe. But you know why I think a lot of people have a problem with Jesus, God, and Christianity? It's accountability. That's what it is. I don't want to admit to my wrongdoing. I don't want to sacrifice this. I don't want to sacrifice that. I don't want to change. I like who I am. I'm like doing evil shit. Okay, well, that's you. And here's the thing that people don't understand. If having a relationship with Christ makes you a better person, then have at it. I mean, I don't knock anybody for what they believe in. You can believe whatever you want to believe. That's your right. Who's to say that what I believe in is right? I could follow down this road my whole life and die, and in the end of it, I'm like, well, damn, I wasted my time on that. That's me. Does it make it right? Does it make it wrong? But in the end, all I can say is whatever you believe in, hopefully it says you where you want to go.
Yeah, that's well put, man. Because for real, I mean, it doesn't matter what you believe in to me. If you're gonna treat me like another human being, that's all that matters. If you treat me well, I'm gonna treat you well. And yeah, whatever I believe could be incorrect too. Why is that so important that you feel the need, or the other individuals, that they feel the need that they have to attack you for your beliefs? I don't understand that. I mean, believe whatever you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But what puts in your mind? What makes you so sure, so concrete is your evidence that what you believe is tantamount to everything else, that you have to attack other people? It's just, I mean, to me, that just shows that you're not a good person. I don't know of any major religion or doctrine that says if someone doesn't believe in what you believe, attack them. Really, I mean, if you actually believe in either any of the Abrahamic religions, if you believe in polytheism like Hinduism, if you believe in non-theistic religions like Buddhism, it doesn't. None of them are say, well, if you run into someone who doesn't believe in what you believe, you should attack them. Most of them will say you should accept them for who they are. Some of them might say maybe you should try to make them, believe what you believe, but none of them say fucking go after the person because they don't believe in what you believe.
Well, everyone wants peace and love, but the reason why we don't have that is because they don't try. Instead, they find it easier to attack people.
Yeah, I think you're right, man.
Yeah, 100%. The comments were really heartless and really messed up about that.
It's like I said, I mean, people got a right to say what they want to say, but I'm the kind of person, if I'm going to come out here, the last thing I'm going to do is make myself look stupid. Okay. I mean, the world's tough enough as it is. Like my sister always say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I mean, life is hard, but it's even harder when you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, and, people can take what they want to, what I say, and twist it around if they want to. But you want to know something? You want to know how I feel? Come talk to me about it. I'll tell you.
Yeah, so I've just about had enough of people, because you know what they're doing when they do that? They're shoving their beliefs down my throat, or down John's throat, or everybody else's throat. Why not just live and let live and stop this crap? Like, who cares what somebody else believes? That's what those articles are trying to do. Those articles, those headlines, it's not positive. It's not like a positive thing for God. It's not like, oh, we're promoting the fact that God, John cares about God. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to conquer and divide even with those headlines, instead of coming from a place of understanding that some people have religious beliefs. In our country, the United States, one of the core founding parts of our country is freedom of religion. So that means you have the freedom to believe or not to believe, or do whatever, that's that.
Absolutely.
So don't shove your anti-beliefs down my throat. You're allowed to talk to me about them, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I, in fact, would love to understand where people are coming from, but I'm not okay with people shoving any of their beliefs down my throat, period. So they need to stop. A lot of these people need to stop with that crap. Well, thank you guys for being here for Podcast The Wicked. If you want to give us some support, there'll be a link below where you could buy some merchandise and just follow our show. We're going to do more. We're going to have more guests on the show. Today, we just wanted to talk about the interview, about John, and about the comments and the crap and the good things and everything alike. So it was great being here, and great
Good
having
episode.
you guys all here to talk about everything. And first episode my son Johnny's been on. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Next time, this will be Podcast of the Taco Bell.
Next time, this will be Podcast of the Storm Rider. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, if we have Greeley on, though, it'll be a special episode, and we'll cross out the name Podcast of the Wicked and call it Podcast of the Storm Rider.
I love it. I love it.
But I just want to say too, if you have bought merch, thank you. We appreciate your support.
Anyway, have a great night, guys. Love you.
Love y'all. Night.
Okay.